video. We're actually using the phone that has the internet service on it now, so hopefully better. Again, this is going to be like part 2 of the recap of day 2, Daryl and Havana, Cuba. Just to catch people up that's just coming in or just watching this one alone, because I might delete the other one. I don't know how bad the service was. But and yesterday, my homie Blazing Bars came here, and we went to Veradero, Cuba. After we went to Veradero, Cuba, we got there, but I forgot my passport, and you know what happened with that. You want to hear more information about that? We had to go. You can hear the last one. But we're going to catch up to the part where we went to the clubs. So at nighttime, I wanted to do more than one club, right? So I had to find out which clubs in Veradero, Cuba was the best clubs. So there was 3 clubs that everyone kept mentioning. The first one, I don't really remember off the bat. What's up, Barrett John? And hopefully this one is better. The second one was Havana Club, which is in the central part of Veradero. And the third one is in the Continental Hotel called Continental Cabaret. Now, the first club we went to, which we should have made last, was Continental Cabaret. Continental Cabaret is the most expensive club in Veradero. Mind you, Veradero is the most expensive part to go in of Cuba. Continental Cabaret was the most expensive club in in Veradero, Cuba, in the most expensive part of Cuba. Do you want to know how much it was to pop a bottle? It was 22 USD. Pause. It was $22 to pop a bottle in the club. I couldn't believe it. The VIP section, popping the bottle. It was $20 to get in. Now for us, it's like a drop in the bucket. There is no other place I've been on this earth, and you guys know I've been a lot of places around the world, that you can get a bottle of tequila, a big bottle of tequila with ice, cups, and drinks for $22 or 4,500 Cuban pesos, CUPs. So we got in there, and we started drinking. You guys know I don't drink that much. The homie Blazing Bars don't drink that much. But when you paying 22 for a bottle, and the atmosphere was more of like a show atmosphere, meaning there wasn't really a dance floor per se. There was space in between the VIP tables and the different tables on the ground, but there wasn't really a dance floor. But there was a DJ, there was smoke, there was pyro, and they usually have people performing on the stage. But the women there, yo, these were the top-notch women. The only other place I've seen women dressed like this, and they really wasn't all dressed like this in this place, was Fabrica de Arte Cubano in Havana, Cuba. But the women here in Continental Cabaret, I mean, they had the design. Now, I don't know if they had name brand designers on, but the design dresses was dope. You think that Cuba is a place of poverty, and it is a place of issue. However, the women, the people, they would dress super fly. I seen dudes with chains on. Of course, a lot of them was fake. It was chains on. They had like the sneakers, bro. It was a bunch of fly people. And yes, a lot of people saying it was tourists there. I really didn't see that many tourists there, to be honest with you. The hotel is a touristic place, but the people that were going there were Cuban. They were Cuban people dressed to impress. I mean, crazy dope. So like I said, we had our section, we had a little fun. I met these 2 women that were from Mansa, Cuba. It's Mataz or something like that. And we actually passed it when we went to the highest point and accessible point in Cuba, the view. But they was in the town outside of Veradero, and they had came there. It was like 30 minutes away. They was cool, so I poured the girls a glass. They was trying to get at us, but for me, it was just so many other women that were like top notch there. And now I will say this: in Continental Cabaret, it's going to be more of an upscale place, so it's going to be more difficult to interact with the women. But I was able to interact with a couple women, and one woman said she had a boyfriend that was cool, and that was everything. But you really don't need to know Spanish. I can't even be around the bush. Like, I want to say in Havana, Cuba, you could probably get away without speaking Spanish. But in Veradero, in the clubs, even though it's more of a tourist area, you can get away with the security guards, the promoters. Yes, they speak English, and they speak English pretty good. But trying to get to the higher echelon of women, they're going to prefer speaking, even if they do speak English, they're going to prefer to speak Spanish. And if you don't speak Spanish, you know, again, I told you guys, like, it is illegal for a woman who is Cuban to go and hang out with a man who is a tourist in their hotel or in their Airbnb. So you're going to have your expectations, and of course you can speak and do stuff, but you're going to have your expectations at a limit to how far you think your night is going to go when you go to Veradero. Now Havana, it's a little bit different, but Veradero, nah, bro, it's tough. It's tough. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying it didn't happen for me. I'm just telling you there is some stuff behind it. So after we left that club, we went to Havana Club. Now Havana Club is more of a touristic club. You're gonna see a lot of tourists there from all over. Like, I seen some women there, like look like it was from Hawaii. I seen some other women, but you're also gonna see some Colombians there also. I mean, some Cubans there also. So we went to the Havana Club, and I actually met with these two amazingly Afro-Cubano women, right? One of them was like, she was average. I give her like, she was like a 5. The other one might have been like a 7, but you could tell she didn't have the clothes to really fit how good she looked with no makeup on. And but you know, she was cool. She was very cool. So eventually I took one of them because I took them both actually to a place where they told me in Santa Marta. Now Santa Marta is about 30 minutes outside of Veradero, right? It's called Santa Marta, not Santa Marta, Colombia, Santa Marta, Cuba. It's 30 minutes away from Veradero. But they had a dope club called, and I think it was Tuyo Mio. I think Tuyo Mio had another club over there. But the club was dope. It was live. They had choreographed dancers. They had DJs. It was a small club. And Terry said, "What up, man? It's better cool, James." And it was dope. And it was like a lot of women there. It was a lot of women there. But it was a small club. And I got there, and it was funny because, like, I was drinking so much, but I wasn't as wasted as I was in Costa Rica when you heard the erectile dysfunctional story. But I was drinking so much that I had to piss like a racehorse. So as soon as I got out the cab, I went to go pee, right? And as I'm if you heard the story yesterday, you understand what I'm doing. So as I'm getting ready to pee, I look to the left, and this girl is the Afro-Cubano chick is copping and squat next to me peeing too. So it's hilarious. And then it was some other random chick that she knew, like I guess the Afro-Colombian chick, Afro-Cuban chick knew all the people at the club. She must be a regular or something like that. So there's another chick sitting there looking at me holding my jaw. So I'm like, all right, wait, why are you even here? Like, I was pissing for a long time. So as I'm peeing, I'm like, why are you even here? And why are you looking at me holding my joint peeing and the girl next to me squatting and peeing? Why are you saying? And she started talking, oh, papi, tu dame un $1. I'm like, hey, this is not it. And she wasn't dressed like, you know, like a person who needed money. She was dressed like a club goer. So it blew my mind. I'm just like, let me shake it off. Like, it was crazy. Shook it off, wrapped it up, and we went outside. No, I didn't get a chance to wash my hands. I'm being honest with y'all. And we went in the club. Now, the club was free to get in. The bar was free to get in. They do pat you down. They do have security there, but it was free to get in. And what you're going to start noticing, once you start going to these clubs outside of the tourist area, like Santa Marta, once you start going to these clubs outside of where there's money at, there is a lot of morenos. A lot. But they're the security. They're the hosts. They're the people who are throwing the party. But inside, I think it was a couple guys I met from Toronto, and it was only me and the Afro-Cubano girl that was there, and then her friend came later. So then we get in the club and we party, right? Now halfway through the party, I'm like, I don't know why. I guess because I was still tipsy from the tequila. I was like, I don't care how unattractive she is. She's not really unattractive. She's like a 5, but I didn't want a 5. I didn't want a 5 at the time. So I was like, I don't really care how unattractive she is. She's a pro. She was a pro, and I was like, actually, her and her friend both were pros. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, how much you want for poetry, right? How much you want for poetry? And she said 100 USD. I looked at her and said, there's no way. There's no way. So, mind you, I'm in Cuba, David. I'm in Cuba. So, mind you, I'm looking like there's no way. There's no way. So, eventually I just walked away. Like, we had a great night. We was partying. We was dancing. I got her Instagram. We were doing all that stuff. We both took the cab together. We were peeing next to each other. You thinking like she would be able to like she would want to like at least negotiate, right? No, not at all. Not at all. It wasn't budging off 100. That's okay. It's not gonna work. Then. Like you are a 5. You are a 5 at best. At best, and I'm giving you credit because your personality is cool. So you know what I did? Rather than getting mad, I just walked away. Now at this time, it's already like mind you, we went to all those other clubs first. At this time, it's about like 3:30. Now this club closes at 6 o'clock in the morning. No. Club closes at 6 o'clock in the morning. At this time, it's like 3:30. So I stay in the club. We hang out a little bit more until like about 5 in the morning. And now I'm like, all right, it's down to the bottom line. It's the last inning. It's the last play of the game. How I'm going to bust a move. And the women are getting thin in this club. There's less and less women now because now it's 5 o'clock in the morning. You can start to see the sun start getting ready to come out or something like that. And I went and I was like, yo, I seen a woman sitting by herself. And I was like, yo, she's all right. Little light skin. I give her a 5.5 with the look. Not give her a 5 with the looks. But with her personality, I give her a 7, close to an 8. Follow me here. So she's sitting there by herself, right? And I'm looking, I'm like, let me just go shoot my shot, right? So I go over and I start talking to her. Again, Spanish is very important, y'all. Spanish is very important. It's very, very important in Havana, Cuba, when you're trying to talk to non-pros. Again, it's going to be difficult for you to talk to non-pros because non-pros understand that, listen, I'm taking a risk talking to you and going to your place or something like that here to cause them to get arrested and put in jail for 4 to 5 years. So people that are saying, are they non-pros here? The reason why I say if you're a tourist, most likely you're going to be pros is because for a woman to want to take that risk of getting locked up for 4 to 5 years, it's going to have to be some money involved. It's just a realistic thing. Not a good thing. It's not a needful thing. It's a realistic thing. I'm taking the risk of getting locked up. So we sat there and we talked for we talked for like 30, 40 minutes, and finally she was like, I mean, she had been giving me the play, so I'm like, all right, boom. By this time, it's literally like 6 o'clock in the morning. We leave the club together, and I'm like, let's go get something to eat. All right, cool. So we go get something to eat, right? She knows a spot where we went, and we went to the spot we eating. The waiter was there. It was 24 hours. It was funny. We was eating. We was talking. We was having jokes. It was awesome. By the time we finished eating, it's 6:30 in the morning, like right as heck. And now we're like, all right, we're gonna walk back to my crib, right? Because I didn't know at the time that you can't bring women back to your crib. I didn't know that because it's different in Havana. Veradero is way different than Havana. And again, he said, I'm confused. So Cuban women can't mess with foreigners. Cuban women can hang out with foreigners at the club, at a diner, at an event. Outside, maybe it looked at a little bit funny, like I had a lot of people looking at me, but as far as coming to your place of sleep, in Havana, it's not really bothered. But in Veradero, because it's a tourist area, it's heavily watched. And not just by the police, but by everyone that's in there that's Cuban. It's watched very, so it's big risk. Big risk. So we're walking down the street, right? And I start seeing a lot of people, mind you, 6:30 in the morning. I still look like last night. She looked like last night. She got on a mini skirt and a belly button showing, the shirt on. She looked like last night. I looked like last night. I smelled like last night. She smelled like last night. And I'm like, are we just walking? And you got a bunch of people just fresh, dressed up with parades and banners. And I'm like, yo, what is going on here in Veradero? Like, what's going on? So I asked her, what's going on? She goes, today is an event called Un Primera Día de Mayo. It's called the 1st of May. It's called El Primero Día de Mayo. And the 1st day of May, there is an event where they do marching and stuff like that in a parade. So I looked and said, it's the name of the thing is the Primera Día de Mayo, which is the 1st day of May. But it's on Cinco de Mayo. How is that possible? The 1st day of May, but it's on the 5th of May. So we laughed about that. We went back and forth, and I was just like, okay, whatever. So as we walk in, every single person is looking at me. Every single person is looking at me. And I'm like, why are they all looking at me? There were actual black people that would look like me, darker than me, And even the black people were looking at me. So I asked them, I'm like, why is everybody looking at me? And they go, and she goes, because we can tell just by looking at you that you're not Cubano. We can tell. And I said, what do you mean? She said, oh, it's the hat. So I take off the hat. And we walking. People still looking at me. I'm like, what's going on? No. It's the shirt, because your shirt is, I had a Versace shirt from China. And so I'm like, all right, cool. So we went to, later on, we went to the crib. I changed the shirt. It was a black shirt, no hat. Okay, they can't tell me now. No, your braids. Oh, your shoes. And it's like every single intricate part of who I was, how I moved, says, you are not Cubano. And everyone was looking at me like because we're walking together. So it was different. It was different. I'm used to it in places, but it was different. But it was nice. People were nice, but it's just like every single person, even other black people. So as we get to the crib, right? She keeps asking me, "Are you sure you can have guests?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know why I can't. I mean, it's a private room. It's just I got one bedroom, mind you. I got one bedroom. I don't see why I can't." So then she comes in and she's getting ready to come in the house. But before she comes in the house, let me have a smoke, right? So I'm like, she can't smoke in the room. So as she goes to grab the smoke, before she steps in the house, she starts to grab the smoke, and the owner's father comes out and says, "Do you have some kind of paper?" The only way that a Cuban woman can go into a tourist house, or a Cuban man can go into a tourist house, if they have some kind of paper that says you're allowed to come here for whatever reasons. Other than that, it's a risk of them going to, it's a big risk. I know it sounds like, oh, it's small, and people say this all the time, risk. No, it's a big risk of somebody reporting them, and they might not go right now, but as soon as you return back to your country, they're going after that person, taking their name down, and going to most likely put them in jail for 45 years. So I definitely, I'm cautious about the whole non-pro thing, because I understand the risk is not really worth it for them, and I think I'm more than myself. And this is the Veradero. Again, man, it's a little bit different. Veradero, this is straight. Man, it's a man. So he's extended tub, but the guy is very, very nice. He's old. He's very very law orientated, respectable, but he's stern with us to say. So finally, she's like, okay, finally, cool. You can come to my house. I'm like, oh, I can? There's no problem? She said, no, it's my house. I can do what I want to do where I live, because she lives in an environment where there's it's less like presence of it. Again, words of weapons. Havana versus Veradero is different. This is what I was trying to tell people. I get to all the comments, I just see certain comments that's responding while I'm asking. Veradero and Havana is different. You guys know I had no problem. I told you about the last story of the golden shower on the last recap, and I had no problem in Havana. Veradero is different. It's very different. Again, Veradero is very different. Where was I at? Okay, so she's like, yeah, you can come to my house, because she lived in Santa Marta. Now, mind you, remember I told you, we was in Santa Marta at Tuyo Mio Club. We was there, but we came back, and Santa Marta's like 20 to 30 minutes away from Veradero, right? And right now, there's a big gas crisis where it's very hard for people to get gas. So the prices of taking rides anywhere is super expensive. And on top of that, it's very unlikely that you're going to see a lot of cabs running around, because as a United States citizen, or as a tourist, not a local, as a tourist, you can only take the cabs that are yellow cabs. As a tourist, you can only take the cabs that are yellow cabs. So you got to be aware of that. And there's not going to be a lot of yellow cabs, because gas is going really tough. So you might be sitting there waiting for a cab for like 15, 20 minutes. So we get to the place, right, and we get inside and we have fun, and I fall asleep. And I wake up, and we have fun again. And I'm like, oh man, now I gotta get back, because my Airbnb, mind you, by the time we got to my first Airbnb, it was like 7:30, 8 o'clock. By the time we got to her crib, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. This is in the morning. And then we had our fun, right? So 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Now I got to get back to my Airbnb. So luckily, she had a friend who had a car, and her friend was not supposed to, picked me up and took me back to my Airbnb to pick up my homie because we had to go to his Airbnb first and then my Airbnb, and it was dope. But that was my experience. So I don't know if, and like I say, I see words of weapon like in the comments. I see he said that all he had to ask for is ID for him. But where I was staying in both locations, that wasn't the case. In the first location that was on the beach in Veradero, the old man was like, he wouldn't even let me stay in there with, of course, when you sleep, you can do what you want to do, but the old man wouldn't even let me stay in there as a guest because I didn't have my passport. I wasn't saying staying overnight, he wouldn't let me stay as a guest. And in the second place, the older guy shut it down before it happened. But again, like I said, the woman, she's a 5. You'll see her in the videos, but I give her an 8 because her personality, her heart, the fact that she didn't ask me for a penny, and I really wanted to give her some money, like some money, like give her like $100 or something, because that experience was amazing, just to help her out along the way, to support her, to help her out along the way. But the issue was I had left most of my money here in Havana, and I was in Veradero, so I wasn't able to give her what I really wanted to. But I do plan on finding a way to send her some money because the experience was crazy. I definitely I'm gonna keep in touch with her, and you guys know I kept in touch with the other one, Mati. But the issue with Mati is that I believe Mati has a boyfriend now, and even though she was over here and I met her mother, it was cool and everything was cool. I felt like she was hiding the fact that she had a boyfriend because she didn't want to hang out at nighttime. I know she has a child now also. This woman didn't have a child. So it was it's a lot of differences, but I just want to give you guys an update. It may not apply to everyone, but I'm giving you my experience based on how and like I said, I really enjoyed Veradero. And remember, we went to 3 clubs, two in Veradero, one in Santa Marta. It's a lot of stuff I can't tell you because I can't tell you here simply because it's not my story to tell, or I'm trying to where I'm at, I'm trying to be more unpolitical with it. I'm trying to be normal. Just give you you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So let me get to your comments and then we're gonna end this because I gotta start getting dressed for the night. I didn't even wear this outfit. Oh man, I might not even wear this outfit today because I haven't gone out in this outfit. I might take this outfit for tomorrow. I'll see. I don't know. Hold on. Let me get to your comments. So ask whatever you guys want to ask. I'll start from the beginning and read the comments. All right, let me go. All right. I forgot. I'm not on StreamYard, so I can't click. Barrett Downey, what's going on, man? Christ L, what it do? Kings and James, my brother, what it do? Terrence Hill, good evening, good evening. Did my man just say $22 for a large bottle with chasers in the spot with women dressed to the nines? Yes. Believe it, bro. At the time I was there, I had so it was 4,500 for the bottle with a chaser, right? Well, what you bring with 2 sodas, right? And at the time, I had like 20 mil. 20 mil. It was only 4.5 mil, 4 bottles. Or a bottle in every single club we went to. But that one bottle had me done for the night because it was only 2 of us. So yeah, it's not a club where people dress down, they wear jeans and stuff. I mean, they high upper scale. Bumps Mace, while you over there looking at me. Yeah, it was crazy, yo. Like at first it was crazy that me and her was like peeing next to each other because we were both drinking. But it was even crazy that her friend or the girl she knew was sitting there looking at my John while I'm peeing, looking at her butt while she peeing and trying to start a conversation. I'm like, what? And she didn't look. See, if she was like a fiend or looked like she was needed money is one thing, but she was dressed up like a party. David, I am in Havana, Cuba right now. I just was in Veradero. Is this with Jeremiah? What did it do? David, post of the next trip I want to collab. I actually posted this trip. I wasn't even supposed to be going on trips this year because I'm doing a film festival run where I submitted my film, Black Man's Guide World Travel to web series to different film festivals. I won over 50 film festivals. There's actually a big one coming up in Miami in June, but I wasn't supposed to be going anywhere, but last minute I said, yo, you know what? I've had the longest channel on YouTube who's been traveling every year for at least since 2009. And there's no other person on YouTube who has consistently every year dropped a travel video high school in 2002. I wanted to come back to Cuba because I wanted to get more networking with people, learn more about the culture, learn how things really are behind the scenes, so I can know how to move, and that's why I'm here. But I did give a pregame of the year a month before. Yeah, salute, thanks, man. I'm in Cuba. Barry Downey, for real, I speak it and tell my boys to learn it. Yeah, it's very important. Like, you know, back in the day, with inflation and everything like that, the country you're in. I know a lot of people were so, because we are from the United States and our dollar goes very far. A lot of people were just trying to use their dollar to go somewhere and spend money. And I'm not knocking you for it, but I'm telling you this: when you learn the culture of a place, whether it's language speaking, whether it's how to move, whether it's the laws, when you learn the culture of the place, it costs you less dollars to move around and have a good time. And sometimes a lot of times, it can take you further when you learn the culture and you interact with the people versus just trying to come and spend money and let your money talk for you. So me, I do both. Plus, I have money, so it just shoots me up to the sky, to limits to the sky. Where women would take 4 to 5 year jail terms just to hang out with me. Dark Knight, I'm confused. So Cuban women, I answered that part. Yeah. Who's my phone provider? Well, I have T-Mobile, right? But in Cuba now they have data. Previously, when I was here in 2018, Cuba didn't have data. It was like you had to have a Wi-Fi card. The Wi-Fi card cost cost $1 for the Cuban citizens and $1.50 for the tourists. But if you wanted to get it from your Airbnb host or hotel, it would cost $3. So you would have to buy like 4 or 5 Wi-Fi cards to have 2 hours of hour or 2 hours of time every card. Now you don't have to do that. I think you can still do it for better Wi-Fi. I'm not sure, but now they have a data plan. For the data plan, you can do it before you leave the United States. You pay $35. I think it's $39 or $35 after tax. What you get is 6 gigs of data. You get 100 mobile messages, SMS, and you get 1 hour and 30 minutes talk time on your thing. These lives, they take a lot of gigabytes. I'm only here 2 more days, so if I need to buy another one, I'll get another one. But I shouldn't need to buy another one because I still got 2 gigs and some shit left. So that's why when I'm on this phone, it's so clear. The issue why it was messed up before is because I was on my other phone here, trying to use this phone because it's more clearer than the phone that I use for my. I can't say that part. I can't. But I almost. Words Web says I didn't have that issue at all with the joints in my Airbnb, and I stayed in Veradero. Again, everyone's everyone's experience is different. I don't know if you were here. I think you were here both after the pandemic, so I don't know. But I know it was a big difference, even in the currency coming before the pandemic and coming now, because there's no longer Veradero. I mean, I keep in here in Havana. Never had a problem in Havana. But in Veradero, that was my problem in both Airbnbs I was in, both. And on the Airbnb listing, it said it was guest friendly. It had all. Let's see. Definitely, David. Definitely, man. Just showing you guys what's possible. All your hard work, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So if I bring the brand, it's gonna be smooth. Here's what I tell people. Now, mind you, when I go places, I do things different. I do pop bottles, yes. I don't mind spending. Like I always negotiate. Try to always negotiate. Just because I'm someone I always negotiate because I know in Latin America 90% of everything is negotiable. So yes, I always negotiate. But I'm not. If a woman says 100 right for a time, I'm gonna negotiate. Try to get 70. Max I might do is 90. I'm not gonna pay the whole 100. And if I do 90, here's the thing I tell people. In Cuba, they ask for 100, but it's for the whole night. It's not just an hour. It's for the whole night. So but I wouldn't pay that. I wouldn't pay that. So, but even though I wouldn't pay that. However, if I'm taking a tricycle or a taxi somewhere, and they're like, oh, it's only 500,000 or 500 pesos. 500 Cuban pesos. I'm not gonna sweat them to try to get down to 300 because it's 500 pesos. It's 1,000 pesos. I'm not gonna sweat them because I know they work hard. I know it's hot. I know they can use the money more than I. It's not gonna hurt me. So I'm not going to try to negotiate them down if it's only 1,000 pesos or 500 pesos. It's not worth it for me. So it depends. So as far as how much you bring, I would say bring, if you're going to be here for 5 days, 4 nights, bring at least 1,100. But no, you're going to probably spend maybe like 1,000, but bring at least 1,500. Bring at least 1,500 because you want that, or at least 1,400. You don't want that 400 emergency. And the way I say break it up is break it up between euros and dollars. Break it up between euros and dollars. Use the dollars for the pro nights. Use the dollars for the taxi cabs. Don't use the euros for the pros because you're going to be giving them more money than you really think you're giving them because the euros worth more than the dollar right now in 2023. Veradero is a tourist area that's 2 hours away, 2 hours and some change away. Vedado is where I'm at right now. It's still Havana. It's Little Havana, it's Vedado, it's all in the neighborhood of Havana. So yeah, that makes sense. As far as you got 170 Cuban pesos for $1, again, there's three different things. There's the black market, there's the airport, and then there's the taxis. And then there's the restaurants, how they charge. The restaurant, the exchange rate I got was $1 for every 180 Cuban pesos. For every €1, I got 190 Cuban pesos, and that was my people. They do that here. So $10 ain't gonna make a big difference if it's more secure. But that's just mine. I paid 100. I got 180 for every dollar. But when I use the money in Veradero, they only give me credit for 120,000 each one for the food, which makes it more expensive. It's not worth it. Don't use dollars to pay for food and Veradero. Use Cuban pesos. Use Cuban pesos. They also have restaurants that look like they can use a card, but United States citizens are not allowed to use a card. If you're from Canada, you're from Australia, you can use your Visa card or your MasterCard in certain places in Veradero. But if you're from the United States, don't even try it. They'll freeze your account. You work for airlines? I work for FedEx, which is an airline. But I don't use airline passes to get here. I pay cash on Google flights. I'm in South Florida. I can't wait. What's going on? Let me see. I was just in Cuba, not for the women like European men, more for like after more. Wait. I was just in Cuba, not for the women like European men, more they. Wait, what the heck? I was just in Cuba, not for me. The women like European men, more they not really after the brothers like that. I had a Cuban girl tell me straight Cuban don't like after black. Oh, that's not my experience. Here's the issue, y'all. And this is the issue it's my perspective. I'm not going to say it's 100%. Everything I'm going to say is my perspective. If you have money, none of that matters, bro. They don't like you. If you have and spend real money, they gonna like you. I don't care if the woman is like she looks white, and she goes after European. When she see a black brother like me walking down with the watch on, with the Versace shirt from China, with the hat on, with the sneakers and Nike from China, and see me popping bottles, she's not even worried. She's more intrigued because in my perspective, the reason why they like European men is because their mothers and their fathers want them to go with the more lighter skinned men, and they were taught that way. But when the money comes in, it doesn't matter at all. Because if she sees a European man with, a class of a shot or something like that, but then she see a black brother like me standing on the couches with bottles, in her head, she's thinking hip hop. Hip hop has conquered the world. Hip hop is #1 culture in the world. So although they have all these teachings from their parents to say, hey, go after the European looking guy because this is a better thing. He's lighter skin, your baby come out lighter skin. They watch hip hop. They have Cuban rap here. They have YouTube by the far now. Technology has hit Cuba. Technology has hit Cuba. Big time. Having data, now they're looking on their phones and they're seeing us. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I seen a guy in a club, Nike shirt, Nike hat, hip hop swag to the core. So when you say, oh, no, they like European men, you may be talking about the 40-year-olds plus. 40-year-olds and up, maybe even 35 and up, but 35 to 19, nah, bro. Nah, they hip hop. They hip hop for real. Like I'm taking my homie Blaze Bars to the Afro Cuban Club, LM. It's not just Afro Cuban, but it's mostly Afro Cuban. It's called L. That's not the experience I had, bro. With tequila, walking up the girl, that's not the experience I had. Again, I think money plays a big part. Pros again. Another thing. I haven't had not one pro ask me for 150. Every pro started off at 150. Well, I mean, it started off at 100, but that is not the price they're going to get. They don't expect to get that price. They only shoot that price out because there are a lot of quote unquote suckers who will pay the first price they hear because they don't know that in Latin America everything is. I've been around. I remember I went to 5 clubs in Havana last night. I mean, first night here. I went to 3 clubs between Santa Marta, which is more of a urban area, and Veradero, and I heard nothing of the sort. So again, it could be an experience. It could be, like I said, it's a lot that plays a part. You gotta understand when you're going after pros, looks still play a part in person. When you're going after pros and anywhere in the world, looks still play a part. She might look at me like, he's a little big. I'll charge him a little bit more. I take as much as do it. Oh, he dressed kind of bad. I'll take a little bit more. But then, when she see me, I'm not. But they see me and like, oh, he's cute. All right, well, I'm only gonna charge him this much, and I'm like, well, I'm only gonna pay this much, and we negotiate in that middle. So again, that's that part. He said when you land in Cuba, you will see the most beautiful women at the airport. You leave the airport, good luck finding them. That's not true either. Again, a video I posted as a short, and I'm gonna upload a short today before I leave out tonight. Go to the last video I posted as a short. The woman dancing was bad, at least an 8, if not a 9. There are certain clubs that people go to. They go to the Malecon, which is right here. See, when you go to Continental Cabaret, when you go to LMA, when you go to KM, when you go to LMA, you go to Dos Puente 45, 2.45 or something like that. Bro, these women are 8s and 9s, bro. These women are 8s and 9s. I haven't seen any 10s. But they're 8s around the Savannah area right here. They don't do the research to go places like LA, because you gotta know this place. To go places like Johnny's, or to go places like Winter. It's a lot of amazingly beautiful women in Cuba, and all 90 to 90. I'm gonna say 85 to 90. 85 to 90% of them are in shape. If you're looking for a woman with a big butt, they have them too. But you gotta go to the more Afro-Cuban clubs because because here they don't do the body thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying what they do. They don't do the fix their body things. It's not the DR. It's not Colombia. It's not Brazil. They don't do the fix their body thing. They do I'm naturally thick because I'm Afro-Cubano and I got a backside and I'm right. That's how it looks when you go to certain places. Again, I'll try to get more video for you guys when I go to these places. But again, you gotta understand this. When I'm giving you guys videos, I'm giving you guys an experience that I'm having. I'm not just recording people without them knowing. It's very different. It's so different. You're thinking that I have money, so it's very different for me. So again, it's very difficult to record in a club when I'm having parties, mind you, by myself. But hopefully you guys see. I heard Cuban women don't really. Again, I hope that already see my Black Men's Goddamn in Cuba, the first one. You can just go back there and see my interactions. See, it's the difference between the person who just shows you women and the person who's interacting. Well, let's see. She can't understand your language. She don't understand you as English, right? You also don't have the money to spend the way that is pictured that European men have to spend. And the world, not just Cuba, the world is a culture where they want people to go for the light-skinned people. They want people to go for more European look. So all that, and I'm back. It just can be so easy. It's not. But me, I come here out of shape. It's a different reaction. They don't like the white men more. It's not like Colombia. The Cuban women act the same way. Wait, what? Wait, they don't like the white men more. It's not like Colombia. The Cuban women in Cuba act the same way like the Cuban women. That's not my experience. Again, it's not my experience. To my experience, the Cuban women are very strong with Cubans are very strong with Cuban culture. It's different from Miami Cubans. It's very different from Miami Cubans. You guys know I own a place in Miami on the water. I've been in Miami for 2.5 years. The Cubans in Miami are different from the Cubans in Cuba because the Cubans in Cuba are so close to their culture, like so close to their culture. It's not an Americanized thing. It's that people don't try to learn the culture. You don't try to learn the culture. When you don't try to learn the culture, they're not going to let you come in easily. It's just not going to happen. Like a lot of other countries you go to are partially Americanized through hip hop and through other stuff. But in Cuba, they're very close to the culture. So to expect that you're going to get the same reaction when you go to somebody and you haven't tried to learn their culture is unrealistic. It's just unrealistic. I mean, everybody's opinion, but it's unrealistic. I'm gonna come to because it's almost an hour. I'm definitely gonna probably do the other one. Bang Killer, what's up? Planning to hit up Medellin in February with about 10 cheese from Brooklyn. Is there a better option than Medellin? If you're going with 10 to 20 people, I would definitely say go to Cartagena instead. Especially if it's their first time visiting Colombia. Because going to Cartagena is going to be more of a vibe for a large group of people versus Medellin, which is more strict and precise. You have to be a lot more aware of your surroundings and stuff. Facts. They like exactly, man. True. Not complaining. Just want to give my perspective. I appreciate it. That's why I like everybody talking. Alfie, what's up, man? Now I'm still waiting for that video, Alfie. I was waiting to watch it. The video we did. Y'all make sure y'all get subscribed to Alfie Kingdom. We had a dope video podcast. James says I've only been to DR like 50 times. I just feel like there's no need to go anywhere else. DR has everything you need and much cheaper than the other countries. Now, I understand people get used to one place, but in one place, to me, it's all about having options. I'm not saying you should have to leave the DR and go somewhere else. I'm just saying know your options because if the DR becomes more like the United States, are you going to put up with it or are you going to go see your options? As far as it being cheaper than other countries, it's not. I've been 3 times. I've only been in Punta Cana, but I've been outside to the resorts, to the casino and places outside. DR is nowhere near as inexpensive as Colombia is, and Colombia is not as inexpensive as Cuba. So when you say DR is cheaper than other countries, it's not cheaper than Thailand. It's not cheaper than not cheaper. Don't say cheap. It's not less expensive than Thailand. It's not less expensive than Cuba, Colombia, and it's definitely not less expensive than Cuba at all. Halls of Valhalla. See, every time I see you going live, I'm showing appreciation. I spread it, man. You got me out the country. Salute. I went to L&M V's, nothing good. Maybe words of weapon. Maybe your taste is different, bro. They had everything up in there when I was in there, bro. I said, you guys, this is the thing. The Black Man's Guide to Havana, Cuba, and Heredero footnotes is not going to come out until about July or August because I'm dropping it as a premiere for South by Southwest or Tribeca. I haven't decided. That's going to not come out until July or August. But I'm going to put the vlogs out before then, and I'll do the review. I'll do the review probably, and I'll definitely put the vlogs out before then so you guys can see what I see. And then you can be the judge if the women in LM are not fly, if the women in 2.45 are not fly, if the women in Continental Cabaret not fly. Because if you just taking somebody else's word, even my word, without me showing you, then you get what you get. Tia, what's going on, TT? Let me see. Flyboy, I guess I did Cuba wrong. I gotta go back. I ain't see a lot of baddies out there. Again, I'm gonna try to bring to you guys this time because last time I specifically kept going to Fabrica de Arte, but because Fabrica de Arte is closed for this month, I am hitting up a lot of the clubs that you won't see a lot of people hit up. They want to, like I try to explain this is how much it costs. This is my political perspective. What I'm just doing is just showing you what is a perspective of what it is. One year I went 5 times in Homeland Security tried to man, that's crazy. I put in quote one. That's true. Bay, appreciate it. What's up, man? What's good? We almost at the end. I'm in Medellin. It's a city vibe, and if you're a city boy, like I like my women natural. I like my women no matter how they come. I like my women. I like my women. I love my women. But it just every country has a different vibe. Maybe it. Okay, compare them to the women in Cartagena. Here's the thing: Cartagena has a bigger variety. Let me tell you why. Colombia of the country. In Havana and Veradero, because of the transportation between cities in Cuba, it's very hard to get the variety of women that you'll find in Santiago de Cuba versus the women you'll find in Veradero. Even the women in Havana, the woman I was with that I gave the golden shower to, she had never been to Havana. She had never been to Veradero, and she was 28 years old. She's 28 years old. She's never been to Veradero, which is only 2 hours away. So the ability of Cuba for being diverse and being more than just what it is in Havana or Veradero. It's like if I go to Cartagena, again, I'm going to get Medellin women. I'm going to get Bogota women. I'm going to get Venezuelans. I'm going to get Brazilian women. I'm going to get Argentine women. Because to move around that circle of Central and South America is very easy. To move outside of Cuba is so hard, bro. It's so difficult. Even to move within Cuba is so hard. I might have to go more detail on the live with that one because, like I said, I had a sit-down conversation to understand how difficult it is. But it's that. Let me see. James says, why would you go to another country and stay at the resort? It depends. Sometimes you have to anybody for doing whatever they do about what's going on. That's why I don't down people for whatever they do because even when I started traveling, I had to start at a resort. Why? Because nobody in the United States taught me anything about international. My family was in poverty. We lived on Irvin Turner Boulevard in the hood. We didn't live in the projects, but we lived in the hood. The project was Spruce Street. But I commuted all the time. So when you don't have somebody that knows the options, then to jump straight to going to a city thing, it's kind of bad. It's kind of a bad idea. You don't just go from learning how to walk to running a marathon. It's not safe for your body. It's not safe for your mental. It's not safe for anything. So I always tell, for me, I went to a resort before I went anywhere else. When I went to the Dominican Republic the first time, me, my brother, and my other friend, educated friend, we went to a resort. Yes, I left the resort, but we went to a resort. And then as I got more comfortable, I moved. So that's why I never knock anybody who go to resorts. I never knock anybody who pays for travel. I never knock anybody who do it because we don't, especially as Black people, we don't have the opportunity to have the knowledge of what's possible. So you gotta watch how you move, how you step. If you want to do something this often. Matter of fact, I don't know. I don't know, yo. Because the nightlife really don't start till like 12 o'clock because it closes at 6 o'clock in Havana. So maybe I'll go for a walk in this outfit so I don't waste it. And I'll wear my other outfit tomorrow. But I appreciate everybody for coming in the room. I might delete the other live. So check it out if you want to. But it's your boy, FRE, $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why. Just check out the channel. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.